The little girl clutched her piggy bank, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She had saved every penny, just as her mother had taught her. But the bank teller's expression twisted with suspicion as she slid the money across the counter. "Where did you get this?" the woman sneered, her eyes darting around as if a crime had just been committed. The girl's heart pounded. Why was she being treated like a thief? What happened next would leave the entire bank speechless, with the teller begging for forgiveness. It was supposed to be a proud moment. 8-year-old Lily had spent months doing chores, saving every dollar and cent in her piggy bank. Today was special. Her mother, Vanessa, a powerful CEO, had promised that she could deposit her savings at the bank just like a grown-up. Dressed in her best outfit, Lily beamed excitedly as she entered the grand marble-floored building. She had no idea that her presence alone would be suspicious to some and that, in just moments, an ordinary deposit would turn into something much bigger. Lily was a bright, ambitious 8-year-old with a heart full of dreams. She had spent months saving every penny, helping her neighbors with groceries, doing extra chores, and tucking away birthday money. Today was the day she had been waiting for, her first ever trip to the bank to deposit her hard-earned savings. Her mother, Vanessa Carter, a powerful yet humble CEO, walked beside her, proud of the values she had instilled in her daughter. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement as they entered the sleek, modern bank. She clutched her little purse tightly, feeling like an adult. But as she approached the counter, the teller's cold stare made her pause. A hushed whisper passed between two employees. Lily didn't understand why the atmosphere shifted. She only wanted to deposit her money. But in moments, her simple act would unravel something far more significant than she had ever imagined. Lily slid her envelope of cash across the counter, her small hands trembling with excitement. But the bank teller, a middle-aged woman with narrowed eyes, barely glanced at the money before folding her arms. "Where did you get this?" the teller asked, her tone sharp. Lily blinked. "I saved it." The teller scoffed. "This is a lot of money for a child. We don't accept deposits without a parent's verification." Vanessa, standing just behind her daughter, stepped forward. "I'm her mother. This is her money." The teller's gaze flickered to Vanessa, scanning her elegant yet understated outfit. Something in her expression hardened. "I'll need proof, a bank statement, ID, something." Confused, Lily looked around. At the next counter, a young white boy no older than her was happily depositing cash with no questions, no hesitation, no suspicion. Lily started, but the teller cut her off. "I'm sorry, but we have to follow policy, you understand. It wasn't a request. It was a dismissal." Vanessa inhaled sharply, keeping her composure. "What exactly is the problem here?" The teller's lips pressed into a thin line. "Fraud prevention. We have to be careful." A manager approached, alerted by the growing tension. "Is there a problem?" he asked, glancing between Lily and Vanessa. Before Vanessa could respond, the teller leaned in and whispered something. Lily's eyes filled with confusion. She had worked so hard and followed every rule. Why was she being treated like a criminal? And then it happened. Two security guards approached from the side. One rested a hand on his belt, and the other gestured toward the exit. "We're going to have to ask you both to leave." The bank was silent now. Customers stared. Lily felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment. Vanessa, however, stood firm. She reached into her purse not for ID or proof, but for something that would bring this bank to its knees. What happened next would leave everyone in the room speechless. Vanessa did not pull out an ID or look for a bank statement. Instead, she reached into her purse and retrieved a sleek, embossed business card. She slid it across the counter with an eerie calm. The teller barely glanced at it before scoffing. "Ma'am, this will not change anything." "I think it will," Vanessa said, her voice steely. The manager, watching the confrontation unfold, picked up the card. As he read the name printed in bold letters, his face turned ashen and his fingers trembled. Lily watched as the realization dawned on the teller too. Her dismissive expression melted into wide-eyed horror. Vanessa Carter, CEO and majority shareholder of this very bank. The silence in the room was suffocating. Once so sure of their authority, the security guards stepped back. The other customers whispered, eyes darting between Vanessa and the now pale teller. You own," the teller stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Vanessa interrupted coldly. "I own this bank, and I just watched you humiliate and discriminate against a child simply because of the color of her skin." The manager swallowed hard. "MS. Carter, I assure you, this was a misunderstanding. No, Vanessa cut in, her voice sharp. It was racism, and I will not let it go unanswered. Still clutching her savings envelope, Lily looked up at her mother in awe. The once dominant teller now shrank under Vanessa's gaze, panic creeping into her eyes. The power had shifted, and everyone in that bank knew it. The teller stood frozen, her face drained of color. Vanessa did not yell. She did not demand an apology. She simply let the weight of the truth settle in. The bank she had worked at for years, the institution she thought she had power within, belonged to the very black woman she had just humiliated. The manager fumbled for words. "Ms. Carter, we—" Vanessa raised a hand. "Save it." She turned to Lily, who still clutched her envelope, uncertainty flickering in her young eyes. "Deposit your money, sweetheart." The teller's hand shook as she processed the same transaction she had just refused to complete. Vanessa watched in silence, her expression unreadable. Lily took the receipt with a quiet sense of victory when it was printed. Vanessa placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "You will never have to beg to be seen, Lily. Not in this world. Not in mine." The moment wasn't just about one mother and daughter. It was about something far more significant. Racism doesn't always scream at whispers and policies, assumptions, and how some are questioned while others are welcomed. Today, Vanessa had power. But what about the next black girl who walks into a bank alone? How many more will be told they don't belong until the world finally changes? If this story moved you, don't stay silent. Let your voice be heard. Spread awareness. Share the story. Together, we can expose injustice and push for change.